Hi guys, in this episode of Grandpa Playing Games, we import the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 version of Just Flight's BAE-146 into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We'll take it for a fly, see how it performs, and then at the end I'll show you the steps that I took to bring it into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So relax, have fun, and let's get going. So for this short little test flight, we'll be travelling from YSBK, Bankstown Aerodrome in Sydney's western suburbs, through to Sydney Airport itself, known as Kingsford Smith International, which is YSSY. Here we are in the Just Flight Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 version of their BAE-146, which I've installed into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Now, a quick disclaimer before we start. This is probably the first time I've done this, and it is not officially supported by Just Flight. So although Just Flight are working on making the product compatible with the new flight simulator, this one we fully expect to find bugs in, and that's certainly not going to be any responsibility of Just Flight's, and no blame at all. So let's try and see if we can get the aircraft started up. We're here in Bankstown Airport in Sydney's western suburbs, and we're going to do a quick test flight, if we can get going, to Sydney International Airport. Okay, let's have a look at the overhead panel. We go down to the lower overhead panel and we find our batteries here. Both of them are on. With our batteries on, we'll try and start the APU. APU is spinning up. There we go. And APU power is now available. So we go to our APU generator, and although we cannot click on the button or switch in order to get the rocker into the right position, we can use the scroll wheel on our mouse. So we'll fire up the APU. We now have APU power. We'll go back into the upper overhead panel and make sure our yaw dampers are on. Our autopilot master and avionics are on. Again, I'm not doing this in a particular order today, or certainly not in the correct order. I'm just trying to do a quick flight to find out if we can get the aircraft working in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So we'll set the brake fans to auto, again using the scroll wheel because it's a 3-position switch. We'll put the activate the lift spoilers. Make sure all of our pumps are on. Get the no smoking sign and we'll arm the cabin emergency switch. Put our strobes and beacons on in advance, as well as the nav lights. Air conditioning, cabin fan. And make sure our pumps are okay. All right, let's move down to the lower overhead panel. And check everything here. The control tank transfer to auto. All those pumps are activated. We won't need ice protection today, but as a matter of good habit, we'll do an ice detect. Let's see if we can get a bit of air conditioning going. Yes, that's powering up all as expected. Everything's looking good there. Before we start the engines, let's have a look at some other switches and settings. Flight director bars, engage them. I think we will set an initial altitude of just maybe 5,000 feet. Break every regulation under the sun. I don't think we will have an active flight plan, but let's give that a try. Okay. Get rid of those notes. Go back to the aircraft. Make sure we've got fuel. We're not going to set any cargo, but we do have fuel. Left and right wings. I think that's fine for now. Okay, let's have a quick look at the see whether we can drag in a flight plan. So there is currently no flight plan selected. Pausing it. Seems to work okay. Flight plan, there is none. Let's go to the route menu. So here's one difficulty, and that is that normally I would import a flight plan from SimBrief. This is not available to me. We'll try and recall the flight plan that we filed through the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 interface, and we can see the origin and destinations are correct here, which is great. Let's have a look, see if there's any legs. There is. So very basic flight plan, but that's what we'd expect for a flight of this duration. Okay. Yes, we can turn our radios on, again using the scroll wheel. Now, although we shouldn't be doing any of these things at this point, let's just see if we can't get the weather radar working. Yeah, it appears it's going to work. Set at 5 degrees so that we can cook some of the ground workers. Okay. What will we do? Let's go here and just try and set the CG. And we will go over and set our takeoff flaps to 24 degrees. Okay, I think we're in a position to at least start the engines, if we can. So let's select Start Master, go to engine number 4, and with our scroll wheel we're going to be selecting the start position here. Okay, see if the engine is spooling. It is. We're going to introduce fuel. And let's go to a different view here, which is going to be a little bit easier to start the subsequent engines. See, the engine is spooling up nicely. Now in a position to fire number 3. Number 3. Engine start. Spooling up well. Introduce fuel. The spinny things are spinning, so I guess that's a good sign. Okay, go ahead and do a number 1 and number 2. Don't know what the correct procedure is, but I always do the outers and then the inners, starting off on the right side and then the left side. Okay, we can introduce fuel. Also spooling up nicely. Have a look at the crop effect on this this little plane in front. Is that a Cirrus? Okay, finally we can go across to number 3. Started. I beg your pardon, number 2. So in my case, I already had the 2020 version of the BAE-146 installed, as I have still got Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 on my system, as well as Flight Simulator 2024. And the installation procedure to get it into 2024 wasn't quite straightforward, so I'll show any of you that are interested in that how to do it towards the end of the video after we complete our flight. Okay, so we have all of our engines up and running. We're going to go ahead and set our taxi lights on. I think we've got everything else that we need. We're about to commence our taxi. We need to remove the chocks. And prematurely.
Cabin crew, please take your seats for takeoff.
Okay, feeling fairly confident here.
Cabin is secure.
Alright. We're going to set our flaps to the 24 degrees. We're going to try to get the throttle management system activated. We'll set it for takeoff, given the fact that we're not that far from the active. And we're going to release our parking brakes and get going. Okay. I have to remember where we're going. I think I can't see any other traffic. I'm going to taxi down the active for light aircraft. And onto 29C. Nothing coming. Hopefully. I think we're going... Whoop. Nothing coming, I said. Aboard, aboard. Nice landing. Okay. Now there's nothing coming. Let's go to... Let's go to the end. I think we're going to need probably as much runway as we can get. Spin him round. And try and line up with center more or less. Okay, flaps are set. No major issues here. Autopilot will be engaged once we get underway. Let's make sure your dampers are activated. Okay, let's see how we go. Okay, we're up. We're going to raise our gear. We have an issue. We have one engine dead. I'm not exactly sure how to start that mid-flight. We can see Sydney over here. Let's worry about flying the aircraft first, and we'll worry about the dead engine. Okay, going to see if I can activate your damper and autopilot. No, both of those are not going to cooperate. So let's make sure we don't exceed flap speed. Okay.
Bank angle, bank angle.
Fly the aircraft first, right?
Sync rate.
Yeah.
2,500.
Grandpa's in trouble. We seem to be oscillating in our pitch. There, if I can't straighten that out a bit. So I'm flying pretty slow, but I am flying only on 3 engines. Not sure why engine 1 cut out. It's okay. We don't have far to go. And we wanted to fly low over Sydney anyhow. Now we're about to overspeed. Go past the famous coat hanger.
$2,500.
Welcome to my world. Bandwidth is too low.
Sync rate.
Okay, so clearly Grandpa is struggling. But we're in the air. And we're going to attempt to see if we can put this bird down. So obviously I'd be really interested in getting some comments below as to how I could restart that number 1 engine mid-flight. Start master was on. In actual fact, probably should have been taken off. Okay, we're going to come around, lower our airspeed. Given the fact we're one engine short, I'm going to delay lowering the landing gear, because that's going to give us a lot of drag. Okay. I'm going to drop a notch of flaps. Even though we're probably too fast for flaps. Okay, bring down the gear now. Landing lights should have been on. Another notch of flaps.
$2,500.
Wallowing around like an old whale. One more notch of flaps. Had to keep the airspeed up.
Sink rate 1,000.
Final notch of flaps. Airspeed is okay. Alignment is okay. Our pitch is oscillating.
500.
Bandwidth is low.
Plus 100. Minimums. Minimums.
Okay, we'll continue. Wow. It looks none too sharp, does it?
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Whoops. Little solid, but given the fact that we're one engine down, I will accept it. I'm really disappointed with these graphics. Watch out for oncoming traffic. Let's just get off the runway as quick as we can. Okay. We're just going to park by the side here and wait for emergency vehicles to come along and check us out. And in the meantime, we'll just do a quick shutdown. Set our parking brakes. Which we don't appear to be able to do. Okay. And get rid of fuel for all of the engines. Okay. And I think that will just about do us. So anyway, it worked more or less. I have to investigate why engine 1 cut out. But other than that, I think everything went pretty much according to plan. So thanks very much for watching. If you're interested on how I ported the 2020 version over into 2024, keep on watching. Otherwise, please like and subscribe and get ready for more wild rides as Grandpa is playing games. So a few caveats before we get underway. Firstly, I own the store version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And I have the BAE-146 currently installed in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Second caveat is I didn't come up with this technique myself. I did find it under flightsim.com, and I'll be providing a link to that article in the comments section below. And thirdly, there may be more optimum methods of achieving the same thing. I don't know. This is just the way that I managed to do it, and as I haven't seen other people flying the aircraft in Flight Simulator 2024 yet, I thought I'd provide this information to you. Okay, let's get into the first step. So the first thing we're going to need to do is to locate the installed BAE-146 aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. In my case, I have it on my D drive, and that's the folder there, Just Flight Aircraft 146. We're going to copy that into the community folder of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So if you're not sure how to locate where your community folder is in Flight Simulator 2024, this is how we do that. So if you're unsure of the location of your community folder within Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it can be located fairly easily from the main menu. We go to Marketplace, click on My Library, then select Community, and now locate the cog icon to the right of the search bar and click on it. This will then tell you the folder where your community folder is contained within. So if I click on Browse here, we can see here it is. So this is obviously going to vary depending on where you've set it up. This is also where you can change the location of your community folder if you wished to do so, as I've done here. I've set mine to the D drive and into a folder called MSFS-2024. So make a note of this location and then click on either confirm or cancel, and then you can go back to the main menu once more and proceed on from that point. Now that you have located your community folder in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it's just simply a matter of copying your Just Flight Aircraft 146 folder over into the community folder here. Obviously I've already done that, and we can see it's installed here. But unfortunately that's not enough in itself. We also need to copy across the license folder from a different location. So the license file for the Just Flight BAE-146 is located usually on your C drive under the AppData folder. So the AppData is always found underneath Users, your username, and then the path from that point is AppData, local packages, Microsoft Flight Simulator, this string, LocalState packages. So that's for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So open up that folder and then locate the Just Flight Aircraft 146 folder within it. You're then going to want to copy that into the equivalent for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, but it's in a different location. So you'll see that it's still your users folder, then your username, AppData, local packages, but then it's going to be Microsoft Limitless underscore, then this string again, then LocalState, WASM, and then MSFS-2020. So that's this folder here. Let's just go back one or two so you can see that after LocalState we find WASM and then MSFS-2020, saying this is a 2020 aircraft. And we're then going to copy the Just Flight Aircraft 146 folder across from there to there. So again, I will be putting these locations in the description below. And that should be it. So the next time you start Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, you should be able to select your BAE-146 aircraft from Free Flight. Let's go and do an aircraft selection. Click on airplane to make it easier for yourself. Scroll across to the letter J, and there you'll find your variants of the Just Flight aircraft. So you can select whichever one you wish and then go into configure. You can change liveries, fuel and payload, all of the things that you could do in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. When done, just escape to save and back, and then proceed on by planning your flight as normal. So I hope this has been of some assistance to you. If so, please do go ahead and click on that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Grandpa Playing Games.